Parshas Emor, which has within it the Chagim, the different festivals, speaks about the period between Pesach and Shavuos. Usvartam lachem, to count for ourselves, Sheva Shabbatos Tamimos, 7 complete weeks. Source number 1, Rav Pam on the festivals quotes the Ramban, who says that the 6 weeks between the conclusion of Pesach and the arrival of Shavuos is in a spiritual sense akin to Chol HaMoed, every moment of it filled with real holiness. Svarim speak about that every day has a component of Shabbos to it, has this component of holiness. And we would expect, therefore, that this would be a time of tremendous simcha, tremendous joy. However, we know, in source 2, the Gemara says that the great Rabbi Akiva had 12,000 pairs of students who all passed away during the days of Sfira. It's because of this that the period of Sfira was transformed from a joyful time of the year into a time of mourning. And we know the Gemara tells us what caused this great calamity. So the Gemara says it was because Shalom Nagu Kavod Zen Laseh. On their very high level, they didn't act with the proper respect one for each other. Question whether they died during the entire period, whether they died until Lag BaOmer, they stopped lying on Lag BaOmer. And we know we celebrate Lag BaOmer being the day of the death of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And as source number 4 points out, the Asufos Marachos, Rav Goldvich, there must obviously be a connection, as the Maharal says, Dvarim Dolim Einam Bamikra, great things don't happen coincidentally, that the students of Rabbi Akiva stopped dying on this day, and we celebrate as a day of the death of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. There must be some connection going on that we need to understand a little bit more deeply. Question that I'd like to try to raise today is a question which is alluded to in Rav Yaakov Hillel's Sefer Ascending Yaakov's Ladder, which he says, we mourn the death of these 24,000 students, right? We're mourning them for a number of weeks, whether you hold the mourning from Pesach until Lag BaOmer, from Rosh Chodesh Iyar until Shosh Yemei Hagbala, right before Shavuos, however you hold it. We have 4 weeks between Pesach and Lag BaOmer to be a time of mourning, which we do not do for any other tragic pogroms and sufferings of the Jewish people, besides the destruction of the temple. So the question we have to ask ourselves, and this is our major question for today, how come, what is it about these 24,000 students, albeit it's a terrible thing, right? Many students died, that we have so many weeks of mourning. You know, in the Jewish calendar, we do mark the mourning of the temple, and we have a 3-week period, the 3 weeks between Shiva Asar Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. And we have points during the year, we have mourning related to the temple, whether it's Asar B'Tevet, Som Gedalia, but to have an entire month which is dedicated to the death of 24,000 individuals, when Lo Aleinu, Jewish history has shown that there have been much greater tragedies that have befallen Klal Yisrael, right? Take a look at the Harugei Beitar, the same period, where all these, they say the blood reached the noses of the animals. I mean, there were thousands of people, tach v'tach. Unfortunately, in Jewish history, we don't lack for examples where people have suffered. What is it about these students of Rabbi Akiva that for them we spend all of these days mourning? And we can add parenthetically, this is a challenge that we have. We're sometimes so into, well, am I allowed to buy new clothes now? Is it like the 3 weeks? Is it not? And they're promoting this type of a cappella music that you're allowed to listen to. You're missing the point. The point is that there must be something about this period that we need to focus, we need to introspect, and that's where our effort needs to be. The secondary question, which is related to the first question, is why specifically do the students of Rabbi Akiva die at this period of time, right? They could have died at any 4 weeks during the year, right? From Rosh Chodesh Shvat through Adar, or through the end of Shvat. Why is it that they died specifically now? There also has to be some special significance if indeed we're making such a big deal about it. So I'd like to suggest 2 answers. No real chidushim today, but the messages and the lessons that we can learn are very fundamental for our lives. I'd like to suggest two answers, and see from both of these answers how we can integrate this into our lives. The first answer, starting with the end of source number 4, Asufos Varachos, Rav Goldvicht. And he notes, and this is a theme of Rav Goldvicht in his writings, Hatara v'chol tzla ruchani nimsachim u'mitarim ba'adam b'rovadim okvim tchilat hashpa'a karui chochma, which is shefa noher mimakom chitzoni, and then we have bina, which is mevin davar mitoch davar. Individuals take in knowledge on two different planes. They take in knowledge externally. You hear information, what the process that's going on right now, where you are listening or reading the